All right, so welcome to Daily Brotein with
So,
Kyra. So we have a guest on today, James Allen. So do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone?
yeah, sure. So, yeah, my name is James Allen. I help people build unshakable confidence in themselves, their dreams, and their teams. My real mission is helping people create MPI. So, what MPI stands for is massive positive impact. And I believe everybody has kind of their own MPI that they want to create, see, or be a part of in the world. And I believe that unshakable confidence is kind of the vehicle, or it is the vehicle that's going to take us to actually allow us to make our MPI. So, that's really what I help people do. Yeah.
For sure. So kind of tell us about kind of your journey and how you got to the point of where you're at right now.
Yeah, so I pretty much just grew up in a household that was not what I was ideal for a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with a lot of alcohol abuse, drug abuse, and physical violence that I had to witness, and my sister and I had to witness as well. My family was involved with biking gangs and like outlaw biking gangs, so there was a lot of that biker scene, kind of biker mentality, and they were just kind of like I grew up in chaos. Basically, that was my entire life. And it messed me up because I was never physically abused, but I was more mentally and emotionally abused, and that really just kind of spilt through eight when my parents almost killed each other multiple times and whatnot. And yeah, that was like my whole entire childhood. So that was when I was 8 years old, and then all the way throughout like junior high through high school, I was just kind of confused. My confidence was like in the toilet, self was down because I had
Right.
all this like crap going on in my head.
Right.
And started to change was when I was 17 years old. So I read the book The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, The Four Agreements was the book that it teaches you how to like be more authentic. And like that was the book that I was reading different articles and things on being relationships and just better like image of myself. I was going to be happier if I just learned this confidence thing. So read the Four Agreements, and that was the first book that like really hit home for me. And I could see all the different things that these agreements are going to help me with. So I started using them, and I read the book every single day for months on it. I think it was like 3 or 4 months. I read it every day, maybe even longer, because I wanted to drill the information into my head. And I'd make those agreements with myself every single day. Like today, I'm going to do my best to be impeccable with my word, to not take anything personally, and to not make any
Right.
assumptions. I'm just going to do my best today. And over time, I started to get better, by doing my best. And then I started like helping other people, and I didn't know what coaching was or anything. I would talk with people. I don't do therapy with people. There's some things that are kind of, I guess, therapeutic in a way, where it's like
Right.
looking
Right.
back on things, but like therapy focuses a lot heavier on the past. I'm focused more on like, where is it that we're going? Now, there's things in the past that we need to clear up that's going to help you actually move to where it is you want to go. That's necessary. It's forgiveness practice and things like that. But yeah, it's more forward driven. But yeah, that was pretty much how I started coaching people, and I never knew what it was coaching. So I followed my dad's footsteps in construction work. I did that for about 4 years, and about a year in, I was like, I don't like this, and I started
Right.
talking to
This is
people
not for
in
me.
the
It's not for
union and
me.
what. Yeah, like I was making like almost six figures or roughly six figures, and I
Right.
was young. I was in like early 20s. And I got in, I think when I was like 3 days after my 18th birthday or something, I got into construction work. And yeah, I was like, I worked my ass off. Like I worked hard. I showed up every day. I had my dad kind of as like a mentor because he did it for like 30 years. And I was like really like a all-star guy on the crew,
Right.
but and eventually I just kind of like wore on, like, I don't want a life. Like it's so much and I'm breaking my back to do this stuff. And it's like, I see people so into personal development. I'd see like Tony Robbins or like all these other people. And then people that weren't even as big, they were making like six figures. They were making as much as I was, if not more. And they weren't killing themselves, and they had
Exactly.
freedoms where we can go like
Exactly.
travel around. I was like, that's freaking cool. And I found out there was like a whole industry, and I was like, you can do that? Like that's so awesome. You can
The
help
thing, right.
people. And like I remember telling myself, actually, when I was in construction, I remember telling myself, I was like, I would love a job. This is before I even like thought that like coaching, like saw this as an opportunity. I was like, man, I wish I had a job where I could like help myself and work on me, like the way I am with like personal development, and then be able to help other people and like get paid to do that somehow. I remember telling myself that,
Right.
and then I found out shortly after that, like, you can have this be actually on the job site. And I tell people, you can tell how much you enjoy your work based off how much time you spend in the bathroom. And I used to spend a lot of time in the
Right.
bathroom just to get away from work. And I was like an all-star guy in the job site, but I would still want to get away because like I just didn't have my heart in it, you know? And I hear like the older guys on the job like, yeah, if like you don't got your heart in it, then you're not going to be successful in this. And I'm like, yeah, that's totally true. Like I want something that is going to be passionate, that I'm going to be passionate in, you know, and that I'm not going to break my back or anything and be gone all the time just to like fight for my kids or like protect my kids, you know, and like provide.
Right.
And that's what my dad did. You know, he was gone all the time because he was working. He was working his ass off. And now he's got like multiple knee replacements. He's got like his back's all messed up. You know, it's just like he's a wreck. And it's like I don't want that. And I can make more money, make a bigger impact, and not hurt myself. And that was like kind of really how I got into the whole coaching thing. And it's just like it was 4 years in. It was a 5-year apprenticeship. And yeah, I like got certified, went to a coaching institute. When I was sitting in the porta potty, I found my mentor, Mary Morrissey. When I was just looking up like how to be successful as a coach, like how to make 6 figures as a coach, because I wanted to make as much, if not more, than what I was in construction, because I liked what that provided me. And yeah, and then I found Mary Morrissey, and she's like, we have a whole process that teaches you how to be successful as a coach. And it just really resonated with me. So I went in there. And I came back out of that and I was in construction. It was like the day after I was fully certified for like months of like going through my certification. And I was there and I'm just like, why am I here right now? You know, I was just like, had that sinking feeling again of
Right.
being in that job. And it's like, I'm just, because I was waiting for a year until I finished my apprenticeship. And then I was going to go like to the next level of the coaching institute, which was a life mastery consultant. And then I was going to like start my coaching business, but I was ready now. Like I finished my first level of certification, so I could go like all my ducks in a row basically. But I had this agreement with myself that I had to finish this thing first before I could go do what I really wanted to do. It's like I had this other year and everybody's like, oh, James, like you only have a year. And I was thinking, I have an entire year
Right. It's a lot
of
of
this
time.
left, because to me, it's like I'm walking around. Yeah, I'm walking a 100-pound chain of doubts and fears and realizing the only reason I was staying there is because my dad wanted me to be.
Right.
And it wasn't even that I wanted to. I really started to ask myself, like, what do I want? You know, what would I really love to experience in my own life? And then it was like, I want to do this coaching thing. And then it was a powerful time for me because I thought, okay, well, if I want to be a coach, like my mentor, Mary Morrissey, she taught me this, that you can't get to your dream. You have to come from it. And in order to come from a dream, we have to become the person in it. So what that means is I had this vision of being on a podcast or going and speaking on stages like around the writing books and making programs and being a coach. And I was thinking, like, does that guy, that like 2.0 version of me, does he do construction work? And instantly it's like, no, of course not. He's doing this. He's way too busy doing this coaching thing. So what was like the clear thing that I had to do in order to live into my vision was to leave construction. So then I finally just like took the plunge and I left construction and went straight into it. And yeah, it's been like a huge learning curve over the last 2 years, but now it's like, there's so much that I've learned in that process of like those years. And there were times I wanted to give up and whatnot, which is just natural. It's, you know, it's part of the journey for anybody. Anybody that wants to like start a business or accomplish anything, even if you want to like lose weight, you know, or build muscle. It's a process. It takes time. Or if you like have no self-esteem and you want to grow up and be more confident, all of it's a process. And it just
Exactly.
like the faster you start, the faster you're going to get good at it. And the more that you practice regularly, the faster you're going to get good at it. And then the faster you can reap the rewards, you know. It's the same thing with all of it, with weight loss, with muscle gain, with building your confidence, with starting your dream job or your passion. Yeah,
Well, yeah, it's all a journey.
that's pretty much the
You know,
story.
I would say, you know, I think that's the hardest thing for me too, as being a personal trainer. That's the hardest thing to get across to new clients is trusting that process of you got to put in this time and get started. You know, it's not going to happen overnight, which is the same thing with what you're doing. You know, you're not going to build confidence overnight. It's just working at it every single day, you know, and
Yeah.
that's how you get
Yeah.
from
I'm
point A
like,
to point B. So,
I'm like the personal trainer for like the brain, basically,
Right.
like the
Exactly.
inside game. And you are, I mean,
Mm-hmm. What the fuck? I lost you. Can you hear me?
I don't know what happened. It just dropped off.
I know, I don't either. You just disappeared. But it's fine. What were you saying?
Shoot, that sucks. Yeah, I was saying that like I'm more like the personal trainer for like your brain basically, and like the inner game and what's going on inside.
Right.
And
Well,
you're like the physical, like the body. And I mean, going to the gym, like even I do CrossFit is what I enjoy doing, and
right.
its inner game is huge in fitness as well.
Right. No, I think the mental aspect of, I mean, I'm not saying obviously I'm not a certified life coach, but like there's more obstacles with the mental side and emotional side with clients rather than the physical part, you know. That's the hardest part is getting, like I was saying, with trusting the process and getting through it, you know. People come in and they've never lifted weights before and they have so many like phobias and fears and like things holding them back. So that's the tougher part of the job, is helping them out with that. And that's what I've learned over the past couple of years of training, is trying to figure out how to motivate people, you know. And that's the hardest part, you know, because once they're motivated and they see results, they're not going to stop. But it's getting that ball rolling, getting that mental thing going is for sure the hardest part.
Yeah, and it is the same way with coaching or life coaching or confidence or any kind of coaching as well. I mean, yeah, physical or mental coaching, because as soon as people start seeing results, it's like they get hungry. Actually, I was just talking about this just earlier today. I talked with my dad about like casinos, and casinos really get you as soon as you win. Right when you
Right.
win the game, like blackjack or whatever, or you win the poker game, then you're hooked. You're like, holy crap, I can do it. You
Right.
know, like I got a big result,
Yeah,
like
you
it's
got money. Yeah.
possible. And that's kind of what can drive you in the, yeah, you know, but it's like that dopamine hit. And it's like the same thing with fitness. You start seeing the results, you're like, oh, this is awesome, like it's working.
Right.
Or like with coaching, like you get some huge breakthrough, it's like, oh my god, that worked. It's like, this is crazy. And then
Right.
it gets more enjoyable. But in the beginning it can be challenging when nothing seems like it's happening.
Yep.
So you just got to press on. I mean, really, it's like the hardest thing, like I think like keeping your faith. And I'm not like a super big man of like faith, like I am, but I didn't grow up in like a Christian family or
Right.
anything. But like the concept of faith is, it's totally, absolutely, you have to believe. And that's like confidence is trust, it's belief in one's abilities. Like I say,
Right.
confidence, personal confidence really boils down to two things in my opinion, where first it's the amount of love and respect you have for yourself, and then second, the amount of trust and belief you have in your own abilities to either do or figure something
Right.
out. So if you know that you can do something, it's like, yeah, no problem, I got it. You're confident because you're secure in the fact, because you've done it so many times. But like another level of that is that I get presented with things that I have no clue how to figure out. I get like, I've gotten last minute, go on stage and just talk for 15 minutes. And I'm like,
You're
okay,
like, about
cool.
what?
You know, it's like, okay, well, what can I do? And then I just
Right.
kind of, well, that's the thing, is like, I just figure it out. It's like, okay, well, I can talk about this. I can talk about this framework or this concept. And then I go up on stage and talk, like I spoke in, I think people, 150 people or something.
Oh damn.
I think it was about that many. But yeah, it was like a little bit before, maybe 30 minutes to an hour before. And he's like, you're going to go on stage and talk for 15 minutes after lunch break. Yeah, I was like, okay.
Was this the part of your
I
training?
got it. So I like spent the whole lunch break. Spent the whole lunch break just planning out like what it, no, this was like through a different mentor that I was working with. His
Okay.
name's Marshall
Okay.
Silver, but yeah, he just threw me up on stage.
Sometimes
And
that's the best way to learn
yeah,
though. Just
it
put
was that
yourself
thing
out
where it's
there.
like I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what was going to. Yeah, you know, that's like another way to build confidence. Courage is your ability to like persevere in challenging situations.
Right.
Let's say like John Wayne has a quote where he says, courage is like being scared to death, but saddling up anyway. That's what he says. And I like to think of courage like you standing at the edge of a rock and you're terrified of heights and you're going to jump off the rock, but you have all these fears where you think, oh, if I jump off the rock and all my friends are jumping off in the same spot, but they're fine, then I'm the one who's going to like hit the rock, or I'm going to get eaten by a shark even though I'm swimming in a lake. You know, it's like all these fears start playing games with you when all you have to do is a simple thing of take that action step. And like you taking that leap, that little barrier to jump off the rock is you building courage, the fact that you did it. So that's like, in dating, for example, you like building courage is being in the uncomfortable situation. If you're like getting into the dating game or getting back into it to go talk to the girl or the person that you fancy, it's like, it's kind of nerve wracking, but just taking the action and like massive imperfect action, just being okay with like quote unquote failing.
Right.
It's okay, you know, because then what's going to happen, you're going to win or you're going to learn something that you can take to the next level. But that's where people get stuck. And like people probably hear that all the time, where, oh, yeah, you just got to do it, then you'll learn from it. But then people still don't take the action. Why? Because they haven't built up the courage. And it just comes from you like finding that tiny ounce without using alcohol, because that's like liquid courage. But if you can do it sober, that is the key.
Sober, yeah. No, definitely. Definitely. You know, I think, again, that's what they say is you grow when you get out of your comfort zone. You know, that's that quote.
It is.
I think that's 100% true, you know, because that was kind of my similar career path. I was doing landscaping too for 6 months, and I was working for my girlfriend at the time, her parents. And then, you know, I was kind of in the same boat. Like, obviously I wasn't there as long as you were, but I was kind of like, this is not making me happy. Like, I'm miserable. Like, my money is decent, you know, it's a steady job, but I hate this, you know, I hate it. You know, I'm not happy at all. You know, I'm spending time in the porta potty, you know, prolonging it. Like, this is not for me, you know, like I need to figure out what I want. And that's when I kind of took the step and I was like, you know what, I've always been into fitness, you know, like, let's just take the jump. And it wasn't easy, you know, like it was a big change. You know, I had to, when I started at the gym, I was working the front desk while I was working on my training cert, you know, and then started doing both for months and months and months. You know, it caused issues in my relationship, ultimately broke up, but like, it was just a huge growing curve over the past couple of years. But like, you have to take, like you're saying, take that step and just do it. Honestly, that's how you learn.
It's like part of me is like, I don't want to sound like so simplified, but like it really is that simple.
It is.
You just it is like it. But that's the thing is like people say it can't be that simple, or like, but there's this, but there's that. It's like it is that simple. Like I tell people all the time, you're in complete control of your life, and it's something that you have to realize. And people will be like, well, no, you can't be, because like, what about like your government that you have? It's like, well, if you don't like the government that much, you can go live in a
different country, right?
Different country. Go live somewhere else.
Right.
You know, like you can go find a different government, you know, it's like, well, but there's this reason, or I can't, well, because my kids, it's like, why don't you break up your toxic relationship for your kids? You know, it's like, if you don't like the people that you're surrounded with, change it. It's that simple. Just change it. If you don't like your body, if you're not happy with your body, with like your physique or the lack of muscle, or if you feel too fat or something, like change it. Get fit. You know, it's really like fit and just getting pretty freaking straightforward. Like I have an ebook that anybody listening can get for free. Just go to my website, jamesallencoaching.com. And you scroll down and there's 3 steps to unshakable confidence. You click on the first step, which is confidence in yourself. And then you get the free gift, and it's an ebook. But that's what I talk about is like, you're in complete control of your life. You know, if you're not happy with the situation, you can absolutely change it. And shoot, I was going to say something and I completely blanked on it. My bad. Whoops. But no, that's the idea. And then people, they just get hung up on it and then think like, well, there's some excuse that comes up, but really it's like, you just have to be honest with yourself. And like, that was me. It's like, I had all these excuses in leaving construction work, but I just got honest with myself and was like, this is what I want to do. I don't want to do this construction thing now, and I don't want to do it later in my life. So that's just the honest truth. Then the rest of the time that I spent was like, okay, you just got to do it. Like, how can I do it and chill my nerves? You know, so my way of doing that was like taking a leave of absence for as long as I could. And I ended up getting a year. Usually they just give 6 months, but they liked me, so they gave me a year, which was nice. I just 3 months, and then after my year was up, they asked me like, "You want to come back?" And I was like, "Nope, I don't." And that was like huge for me. That was such a I remember like hanging up the phone, just sitting there, just staring into space. Like, did I really just do that? Like, I just completely cut the tie right there. I left on a good note. You know, they still respect me. I could go back if I wanted to, but I don't want to. You know,
Right. It just
no
wasn't
need.
for you. I think the issue is people they get
No.
complacent too, with where they're at and they don't want to change. They may voice like, oh, I want to do this, but they don't
Yeah.
actually take the action because they don't want to do that. They want to keep living
Yeah.
the life that they're living, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate. Um,
Yeah. I think change is really, it can be a simple thing. It depending. I mean, some things it's like, there's a lot more factors to it, but general change, like can be pretty, like getting, um, like I lay it out in my book as simple as I can. I love to keep things simple, but it's really like three things, I guess, two things majorly. And diet and nutrition is like, if you prioritize natural whole foods and just stay away from as much processed stuff as you can and do like an 80-20 rule. So 80% natural whole foods, and then 20% you can eat, whatever it is that you want. You're going to be generally healthy. Like, yes, there's certain things with some people have like different types of like health challenges, that's more complex, but like anybody that does that generally and eats more vegetables and natural whole foods is going to get better in their health. Like
right.
that's just a given.
I
And it's
agree.
people no, eat this. And then the second aspect is finding a way to keep your body moving. But people, like, there's a lot of people, and you're probably familiar with this, they go and lift weights, but they hate lifting weights.
Right.
It's like, then why are you lifting weights? But they're like, well, I really love like swimming. It's like, okay, well then why aren't you swimming right now?
Exactly.
Why aren't you going out into the lake and doing some kind of swimming, like, or rowing? Some people love rowing or rock climbing or like martial arts. There's all like, or playing soccer. Like, these are all great ways to keep your body moving and like to be fit and be healthy.
Right.
And it's really just a matter of you finding something that holds you accountable. And that's like having a personal coach like you,
Right.
or having a community like I do CrossFit. And the community is what really pulls me
Yeah.
back all
Support
the time.
system.
We do
Yeah.
freaking hard workouts.
Right.
You have to have some kind of support system, because I did 24-hour fitness for a long time, for many years. And I was just like, I couldn't hold myself accountable enough. If you can get those two things down to where you have some, like, you want to come back and you do an activity that challenges you, that makes you want to come back. Like, I love CrossFit. I love the methodology behind CrossFit. Some people will disagree and some people will agree. Whatever. I love it. And that's
Right.
what
That's all that
matters for
matters.
me. And if you
Right.
love rowing, for example, or rock climbing, then go do rock climbing or rowing, and in the meantime, just focus on eating more natural whole foods. And like, it is simple, but it doesn't have to be more complex than that. Rule number 3, I'd say, out of that is just repeat 1 and 2 for the rest of your life. That's
Right.
what it
Yeah,
is.
literally. And that's the thing, like when people like want to lose weight too, it's so simple. You just burn more energy and eat better. Like exercise more, move more. It doesn't have to be anything
Yeah.
crazy, but people always want, and I think I don't want to blame it on technology, but like with phones and everything, like there's so much instant gratification that they just want a quick fix. Like I want to lose fucking
Totally.
30
Yeah.
pounds in 2 weeks. It's like, well, that's not healthy. It's not going to be sustainable. But rather let's take a slower approach and make it and completely change your lifestyle and start
Yeah.
developing healthy habits. And that's how you're going to have that long lasting effect. So, but yeah, when you break it down, it's simple. And that's, I think, why I like the fitness industry so much, is there's so many different
Yeah.
ways
And
to go
that's
about it. So,
sure. Yeah. That's really what it is. That's like what you have to find. I believe that we have to find a way that we can keep moving, that we enjoy. If you're like 80 years old and you're like, well, I can't do
right.
CrossFit, which isn't true. You can lift weights, like a year of like criticism. But like still maybe ride a bicycle and just go around on like your favorite park in the local neighborhood, or go for a walk with your dog in the local park, and it's like, it's simple. People just have to like move and find something they actually like to do. Because there's so many forms of exercise and like fitness, and there's like sports are so great because you don't even think that you're working out, but you get a killer workout. Like playing soccer, people love to just play soccer and just play the game for the game. And they're also like burned like all like hundreds or even like over 1,000 calories
You're
for
running
playing a
so
game of
much, you don't
soccer.
realize it.
Yeah, and it's like they end up being like great athletes and super fit in their own way. And that's what matters. Like you're finding, that's like what I do when I'm helping people, is like helping them be the most authentic version of themselves. Like, how do you like to work out? Like, what is a form of exercise that if you don't like to work out, like some people say, like, I know some people are like, oh, well, I don't like to work out and like go to the gym. It's like, but I love swimming. I love swimming in the ocean, like scuba diving or, snorkeling and stuff. It's like, okay, well, that's a great form of exercise because you're swimming. I'll go like snorkeling or scuba diving and it'll freaking whoop my butt,
It's tough.
and it challenges me. And it's like, it's a phenomenal way to go, to get some exercise. There's just always a way. It's just people give into their excuses, and that's the biggest challenge.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I guess my other point is, how has it been kind of your industry with the whole coronavirus and that whole thing? Like, how have you interacting with people and coaching people? Because obviously a lot has changed in this last year. There's a lot going on. And like a lot of people who've lost their jobs, life has changed. How has that been, like interacting with people and kind of helping them stay on track with their life goals and whatnot?
Um, so really from launch a really big program kind of deal. And I've just been like revamping, really focusing on like my messaging and and then building a lot of like back end stuff. I rebuilt my website, something new, and I've been like building programs to create this really big thing I'm working on. And that's really what I've been doing, but that's going to be the biggest kind of like launch pad. So I've been using this time being like homebound to just kick ass on building
Right.
this stuff for me. And it's like a system and automated systems. So I haven't been enrolling a lot of clientele. I've had a couple clients that I've enrolled. I know there's a lot of people out there, especially now, that have challenges with like kind of their mental game, just with all of this,
Right.
all the with the coronavirus and everything. So that's really how it's been for me. But I have other friends that are, and they're like getting opportunities from pod people. So yeah, I mean, for me, like the biggest thing is that I've really just been building out the systems. That's what it is. And yes, I definitely got busier when the whole coronavirus hit, because people need, it's like, well, you can make adjustments, you can do changes, you can move to online.
Right.
And they just kind of like get stuck in this level of thinking where it's like, there's nothing I can do, but there's always something that we can do. It just comes down to taking the time to actually plan it out and having someone like with me, when I get together with my clients, it's like being in a mastermind group. So it's them and I focusing purely on their goal or their challenge that they're facing right now. And it's like we're combining, I call throwing noodles. So I'm just like throwing ideas at them, like, hey, I'm going to throw a noodle. And I see if like that's something they're like, oh, wow, that's like genius. I never thought about that.
Right.
But they're like, no, that's not, I'm not willing to do that. That just doesn't align with me. All the madness that's going on and all the like health challenges people are going through. Because I've been building out these systems on things that I'm working for, that's going to skyrocket this next year for me.
For sure. No, that's awesome. I think that's definitely the biggest thing for me when quarantine started, was kind of readjusting my whole routine, because obviously I was used to working all the time, the gym shut down, you know, and I was like, well, what do I do with all this free time? You know, and kind of that's why I started. I don't know if you saw, like I was running a lot in the beginning of quarantine. Lately, I've kind of stopped just because I have like a hip issue thing going on, but I've started as
Yeah.
of late, and that was just something that I could work on every single day, and then it just became a competition with myself because literally I can just go outside and run. You know, I don't need anything else to help me with that. And that I think that's been for a lot of people is kind of reshifting. It's given me a lot of time to focus on other things, you know, that I necessarily wasn't focusing on before quarantine. You know, at first I was kind of like, well, what do I do with all this free time? You know, but it kind of gave me a chance to reset and refocus on like, okay, this is what I really want to do with my life. Refocus on my health, you know, my relationships and whatnot, and kind of like get the ball rolling. So that's one thing like I'm super appreciative for. Like obviously in the beginning I didn't see that, you know, I was like, fuck, I was like, I don't know
Yeah.
what to do with all this time. You know, I'm sitting at home all day. And like it was worse when we opened up at the end of June for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then shut down again. And so I was finally readjusting to like, oh, I'm working again, getting back in that schedule, you know. And it was great to see all my clients, and then for it to shut down again and go back to being at home, you know. And yeah, I'm training a few clients at my house, but it's kind of, you know, it's also not the same as being in the gym, being in that same routine. So I think that's the biggest
Sure.
thing for most people is kind of developing, creating a goal and kind of setting a goal and going towards that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much that we can do just like body weight workouts,
Right.
you know, and I think, I mean, personally, if I was to have one piece of equipment for exercise, it would be a kettlebell
I
all
had a
day.
feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah, dude, all freaking day. I will rock a kettlebell. Actually, for shelter in place, when we first went into shelter in place, my gym was kind of leasing out some equipment, and I messaged out. I was kind of late on it because I had some equipment. I was making do with that, but I was like, oh man, having a kettlebell would be so good. I'd be able to stay busy with that. And I messaged out the owner of my gym. I was like, hey, do you got any kettlebells? And he messaged me back. He's like, yeah, we got one. It's a 70 pounder. I was like, shit. All right, I'll take
Oh,
it.
heavy,
So I
heavy.
got, dude, I freaking was throwing that 70 pounder around, and I was doing a really good workout that I really like. So CrossFit is typically like 21, 15, 9 is the rep scheme, you
Right,
know?
right, right.
And so you do 21, it was burpees. What was it? Burpees, kettlebell swings, and then double unders.
Damn.
But you could do jump rope. So I forgot the name. I think it's called Megan is like the name of the workout because that's what we
Mm-hmm.
do in CrossFit. And yeah, so you do 21 burpees, 21 kettlebell swings, 21 double unders, or you can do single unders if you want, or you can double the number for single unders. And then you do 15 of each movement, then 9 of each
Right.
movement. And I was just like rocking that workout because I knew that it was just a quick workout I could get in and I would be good, you know, and just like really get my heart rate up and whoop my butt. But I did that, and I think the fastest time I got was like 4 minutes on it. I was just did like burpees. I mean, if someone just did freaking burpees, like 100 burpees a day, holy crap, that
Right.
would
You don't need any
kill.
equipment for that. It's just your body. Just your body.
Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity for people.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it's saying like, and then even today, like I went to the
Yeah,
gym. There's
and
a
even for
gym.
you, man. I mean, like, you know, like a body. I don't know if you are or not, but like body weight program like that is huge, and like people are stuck in home, and I know a lot of people are doing that as well. There's a lot of fitness coaches. I've seen the ads because like
Right.
I like fitness stuff and I watch fitness stuff, so I get directed that ad traffic. Um, oh
There you are.
yeah, sorry, someone tried calling me.
Oh, good.
But yeah, man, it's good stuff, and I think like the biggest thing for people now is just really like holding strong in this. And it's like I can't just like do a general thing off of like everybody because everyone's in kind of a weird situation right now. But like
Right.
if you're in a business, like what can you do in the back? Like for me, like that's what I'm doing. It's like I built a whole new website that's more engaging for people. It's like a sexier website. It's more up to date. What I'm working on, by the way, is called MPI University, and you're the first like person I've told on a podcast. This is cool. But MPI University has all of like these coaching programs from my coaching institute that I've like recreated and whatnot, and I put all of it into one spot, and it's a monthly subscription for people. because I've had like people pay me thousands of dollars to work with me over a long period of time to do like one-to-one coaching. And for some people, they're just like, that's just, I can't find a way to make that happen, but I want to work with you. And I never really had any kind of option for them that was like a sustainable option for both of us. So I was like, shoot, what could I do? And I came up with MPI University. And that's what I'm working so hard on and building is like, there's an app that you can download to use, and it's a monthly subscription. So it's like a gym membership for your brain.
Right.
That's really like the best way that I can think about it. But it's got like over 31 hours of audio and video content and teachings all around like confidence, building your self-esteem, and like everything pretty much that I have used to become as confident as I am today and continue to grow my confidence. Because I'm still on my journey, you know, I'm just helping
Right.
people that are a couple rungs lower than me or under me, or a couple chapters behind me, you can say. And that's really how it is for us, you know, and then I'm learning from the people that are chapters higher than I am, and then
Yep.
helping the people lower than me as far as awareness and confidence goes. Because I used to be super insecure, and then all this stuff that I put into this one online university is just like they can pay for a 1-year subscription, but they get like monthly Q&A coaching with me. There's unlimited text and email support. So yeah, and it's like, it's me. It's not like bots answering or anything. It's
Right.
a full phone number. It's not my like actual phone number, because I'm just gonna keep throwing it out there to people. But for my
Yeah.
highest paid clients, like yeah, they get a phone and actually get to work with me like that. So that's like the kind of stuff that I'm like working day in and day out, building this stuff and trying to stay relevant at the same time. But I'm really just like putting all my energy into that. And then that's my main focus that I'm doing. So I'm working with like a PR coach, and we're getting it ready. And there's so much that you can make use of this time. Like even with fitness, I saw some meme, and it was like 3 ways to come out of quarantine. One was like super fat. The other one was like Chris Hemsworth, like super ripped, like Thor.
Right.
And then the third one was like just completely insane.
Right.
So it's like, it is what you make it, you know? And yeah, like having someone like you, even like a digitally, is like really helpful for people as well. But it's really just kind of like even with all this crap going on, like with the fires up here in Northern California as well, and COVID-19, everything getting shut down, and businesses opening shortly and then getting shut down again. It's just inconvenient for people, and people are adapting to the best of their ability. But like for the average Joe, like it is what you make it. Like I personally, despite all the craziness, have had an amazing year. I've had a kick-ass year. It's been so much growth that's happened, and I am just choosing to focus on that, because what we focus on expands. It's like everything you look at and pay attention to is like you're looking through a magnifying glass.
Right.
So if you
No,
look at all the
I agree
frustration, all the
100%.
fires and all the COVID and everything, it's good to stay up to date on it and understand. Yeah, it's like a magnifying glass. But if you look at your dreams, your ambitions, and the goals and the things that you're working towards, like me, that's what I'm doing. I'm just like, I have a whiteboard where all this stuff is laid out on it. It's like, that's what I focus on every day. That's why I wake up early and then work towards it. And it's like, that's simply what it is. It's like, as if I could put it as simple as possible, it's what you put your attention onto and your energy into.
Right.
It's
No, I
really
think,
what
and
it
it's
is.
a
Like, you
matter
want
of
to be more fit, then
perspective
put your
too.
attention, your energy. Yeah.
I think because you can,
100%.
you can choose to focus on the negative and have that drag you down, which I think all of us kind of went through that in the beginning. But it's like again, like I said before, it's like it gave me a chance to kind of reset, refocus on what I want to do with my life, like the same as you, and that's all I've been getting after for the last like months. And like I would say the same, like it's probably one of the best years of my life personally. Obviously, for the world, I wouldn't say so, but I would agree. So it's a matter of kind of switching your mindset.
Sure.
Oh, this is all this time to focus on things I necessarily did not focus on before, like you were saying about your website, you know, like something you didn't realize probably before quarantine. And you're like, I have this outlet that I can create, you know, and work
Yeah.
towards that.
Yeah. And, you know, it was like originally it was the idea of like, oh, I want to finish up all the programs that I have for my one-to-one clients for their like online university. And then it evolved into having a subscription program so people can just like try it out. You know, they can do a couple months doing it, or invest in 1 year for like a huge discount. It's like 40% off for a whole year. You know, and then they get like bonuses and stuff as well for making a bigger investment for the whole year. but it's yeah, just like all of that stuff that I was focusing on just like evolved, and that's kind of just what happens. It just evolves, like your ambitions, your goals do. But like, yeah, if you just like it's really like, what's the result that you want? Like me, the result that I want is to have this thing up and running. My goal is to have 100 people enrolled in my university by the end of the year. That would be my goal. You know, that's a tangible goal right there. If your goal is to like get in like fit or get ripped, then like what does your day look like? What's your daily agenda look like despite quarantine? Like, don't let the pandemic or the fires, unless it like burn down your house or something that's different, you know. But if you're safe and like you're kind of just there, like people still just get in a frenzy inside their mind. It's like you just have to control your mind and like grab it and be like, this is what we're going to pay attention to, because the juice is worth the squeeze to do this. But a lot of people don't have something like that, so then they just stay in this frenzy of like, fear.
Right, kind of all over the place.
You
Well,
know?
it's just, again, it's controlling what you can control, right? You have no control over the coronavirus or the fires or what else is going on in the world, but you have control over, like you're saying, like you want to lose weight, you know, start taking action towards that, or whatever it may be, you know, things that you do have control over, and that's something you can work on every single day and help you stay motivated.
Yeah,
I agree.
absolutely.
For
Yeah,
sure.
man.
Well, do you have anything else to say?
That's the biggest thing, man. I think like if I could just think about anybody listening, the biggest value during this time is really like if you're focusing on a goal already, maybe you're building something like I am or anything, then keep keep at it. You know, that was one of the biggest issues was I was working on the Brotein. And it's now like that's what my coach told me. He's like, just keep going, just keep being consistent with it, and then you're gonna reap all the rewards. Just not be doing it right, you know, because I'm not getting the results as fast. It's like that gratification, like you were talking about earlier.
Right.
But that's the same thing with like fitness as well. Like, yes, it's like eating healthy. It's being, it's finding some kind of exercise regimen or something that works for you that you enjoy doing. But the key to being consistent is that you enjoy it.
Right.
You know, like if you enjoy rowing or you enjoy swimming and you're able to do that every day or find a way to do it even every week or consistently for you, then you're going to love to do it. You're going to want to keep going back to it. Like I love doing CrossFit, so I keep going back to it. But you know, it's like you just got to keep going. If you're working on this stuff already, then yeah, just keep going.
No, I think consistency is the key, and that's what I stress with all my clients is like that's the biggest thing. Because a lot of people ask me like, well, how like, you know, how come I can't lift like you? And I'm like, I've been lifting for, you know, on my own for 8 years, and it's been a journey. You know, like I have my own journey. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to work for you. You know, like I'll share my advice, but it's just you kind of have to go through it on your own and stay consistent. You know, that's the biggest thing that's led me to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
You know, is just being consistent day in and day out. You know, you have your good days, every bad days, as everyone does. You know, but as long as you stick to it, you're going to see results.
Yeah, but I mean, like, why, like, and I think people get that concept, but for you, Kyler, like, why do you stay consistent with it? What makes you stay consistent with it? Is because you just love lifting weights, or what is it about it
I
that
think
it causes
it's
you
a
to?
mix. For me, it's like a mix. It's one, I am one of those people that does enjoy working out, and I think it's because I did sports my entire life. So it kind of gave me, once I stopped doing sports in high school, like there was a year gap when I didn't really work out, and then I got super into fitness like a year after that. And it's just competing myself every single day and just the way I feel too. Like overall, not just physically, but you know, mentally, emotionally, like the confidence that it's given me that's kind of overlaid into other parts of my life. You know, that's I think the biggest thing that's important and that some people don't realize, you know, when you start working on yourself and you start eating better and you feel your body right, like it's going to overlap into your relationships and your goals and your career. And you're going to feel good. And you're going to want to do things that make you feel good. I think that's the biggest thing, you know. And I'll notice that day in and day out, if there's a day where I don't quite eat right, you know, I'll feel off the next day, you know, and I'll get back on track. But it's like you can just feel the physical differences
Yeah.
and mental differences 100%. So I think that's the biggest thing for me, and just setting an example for everyone around me. You know, whether it's like
Yeah. You know, and I think
girlfriend,
it's
you
like,
know, friends, family.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So when a question I want to ask you, even though I'm on your podcast, but this is a question I ask everybody on my podcast,
Uh-huh.
and it's what's your MPI? So what's the massive positive impact that you want to see, create, or be a part of in this world?
I think for me, it's just like no matter who I interact with, I just want to help motivate, teach. It can be the small, like I would just think about this actually before we started recording was like, that's my motivator. It's like just being able to interact with us, a small thing or a big thing, like whether it just gives them perspective on an issue with their relationship or whatever, or it's something as big as helping them lose 30 pounds. Like it doesn't matter. If I'm helping them accomplish something and achieve something in their life that they want to achieve, that's what matters to me. And that's kind of like, you can do that with anybody, a stranger, you can make a positive difference.
Yeah.
That's kind of what motivates me, or keeps me motivated, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's like a huge piece of the consistency factor is like knowing that MPI for you, kind of the impact that you want to make. Like you said, you got to set an example for people, which is true. Like that's with me too. Like I get motivated because I like to set the example of like doing the work, living a life that you enjoy and making an income where it's a win-win for everybody, and you get to do the things that you love in your life. Like that's what wakes me up in the morning. It's like I get to live that kind of life, and then I get to help other people live that life as well. That's kind of like with you too. It's like you get to live a healthy lifestyle and be more fit, and then be the best version of you, and then you also get to help other people. But like that's the thing that I think people kind of forget is the helping other people and like the really sharing the love with other people. That's such a huge motivator for consistency, because doing the podcast, I don't just do it for me. Like I love to do it, but it's also because I believe that people need to hear that stuff. It's kind of that sharing and that
well, this helps people
service
that,
of
people are in
really
the same
huge
shoes as you
piece.
when you started, or for me, like I was overweight when I really got into fitness. I worked out in high school, and just kind of showing them that here's where I'm at now, but at one point I was over here, and showing that it does work, what I am telling you, and, setting that example, you can do it, and whatnot. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Love it. Well, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. That's all I got for today.
That's perfect.
Yeah, be consistent and keep your head on strong. Focus on the things that give you life. That's kind of my slow.
Right. No, I agree. 100%.
Gives you life. So focus on you're paying that map.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It just was like glitchy for a second, so I didn't hear the last thing you said.
Well, yeah, I was just saying like basically just do what gives you life. That's like my biggest motto, I guess.
No, I would agree. I think because life is short, so why not enjoy it and do what you love?
Yeah, man.
Make the most out of it. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I think that was a good conversation. Yep. Obviously, you have a lot of things to say that I think people can relate to.
Yeah.
And then I know you mentioned your website earlier. You just want to mention it again and where the people can find you at. Yeah, so it's James Coaching, and Allen is Allen. So James Allen Allen coaching.com. That's the hub. That'll tell you more of my story. It's really beautiful layout that I have it set as right now, so I'm really happy with it. But yeah, go on there, and then there's 3 steps to becoming unshakable, or 3 steps to unshakable confidence. And that's just when you scroll down the page, and you'll be able to kind of go through this free gifts and things like that. Awesome gifts too, I might say. But yeah, all that stuff is there for you. So visit it, check it out, and I hope to talk with you soon. Awesome. I appreciate you coming on again, and hopefully talk to you soon. Yeah, man. All right, man. Definitely. Yeah, we'll definitely stay in touch. Got some ideas for you too. All right, bud. Take care, man. Okay, you too, man. How do I end that? There we go.